For those of you that don't recognize this, this is a cleaning brush for a 50 BMG, or a 50 cal. And it happens to be perfect for cleaning out the glow plug holes on my Mercedes. Yeah. Nice. So I'm out here today doing some preventative maintenance or some scheduled maintenance to my diesel Mercedes. If you're new to this channel or you didn't see the prior vid, I just purchased this vehicle a few months ago. It's used, it's a diesel Mercedes. It's been on the list of vehicles I always wanted to get. Finally got it, pretty excited about it. But whenever I purchase any used vehicle, I want to go through everything. I have no maintenance records for this vehicle, so I want to make sure, you know, to visually inspect everything and catch up on any of the basics that need to be done. In this case, we're doing glow plugs. Now Mercedes recommends that you at least inspect the glow plugs, take them out and inspect them and clean things up every 40,000 miles. There's 6 glow plugs in here and I've already taken them out. I think they recommend that you take them out every 40,000 miles, if anything, to make sure that they don't become seized in the glow plug ports. This is one of the used glow plugs out of the engine, not to be confused with a spark plug. This is in a gas engine. Gas engines use a spark to ignite the fuel in order to cause the detonation inside of the engine. Glow plugs are just an assist. Diesel engines don't need glow plugs to start or run. It just makes it easier. They heat the fuel up in the chamber and it makes it easier on cold days to start a diesel. Gas engines need a spark or electricity in order to start. Diesel engines don't. This is just a handy assist to start them. Now don't get me wrong. Good glow plugs are essential if you want to operate a diesel vehicle in the wintertime or in cold weather. It just makes things a lot easier. In the old days, if you wanted to start a diesel tractor, let's say, when it was cold out, they would actually put coals, hot coals, underneath the engine to heat it up so it was easier to start it. I'm glad I don't have to do that. Glow plugs are pretty handy. My point is to this is that diesels have a real advantage that way. They don't need a separate electrical system to make a spark in order to ignite the fuel. They use compression. That's the glow plug port that I'll be putting the new one into, and I wanted to mention here that whenever you're changing glow plugs in a diesel, that you want to remount the old carbon in there, clean it out. That's what I was doing before with the 50 cal brush. You want to clean it out best you can, because the carbon in there that accumulates every time the glow plug fires, it will build up after a while and insulate that glow plug. It makes it work harder. And if the carbon builds up enough that it actually touches the glow plug, it'll greatly shorten the life of the glow plug. So it really pays off to clean that out. That's why I was really brushing the hell out of that in there. Now they sell glow plug reamers for about $100. I think there's a Mercedes sells one for $128, and it's basically about this size, the size of a glow plug, and it has a carbon tip on the end instead of the plug itself. And you screw it in there back and forth to scrape out all the carbon. Now if you don't want to spend $100 or $128, it's pretty easy to make one. You just take a glow plug, one of your old glow plugs, drill it out. It takes about 15-20 minutes to do this, and then just leave the drill bit in there. That way you can use that to scrape out all the carbon. You want the tip of that drill bit to just be a little bit bigger than the tip of the glow plug, and that'll do it. You just don't want the drill bit to cut into the glow plug port itself. But it's a pretty handy do-it-yourself, or you can save a chunk of money. Now this is the new glow plug, and as you can see, there's the plug itself, and this is the steel case that goes over the glow plug. Now steel and aluminum hate each other, so it's important that you put a high-quality anti-seize lubricant on the new plugs when you put them in. Probably one of the most expensive repairs to have done is to have a spark plug or a glow plug removed from your engine head. It's really expensive, so you don't want to break them off. A little bit of anti-seize lubricant on the glow plug before you put it in. Save you a lot of trouble later. After you get them all in there finger tight, you want to use your torque wrench. Tighten them down to 27 Newton meters, or 20 pounds of foot torque. After they're torqued down, just put your glow plug caps back on. Making sure you get them on in the right order, of course. I'll go back on with a snap. Once the glow plugs are torqued down and the caps are back on, you're pretty much ready to put the intake back on. And one of the reasons I did not show you how to take the intake off is because it's one of those things that it's easier to show you with it off. There's only a few steps. Number one, you have your intercooler pipe. It has one bolt right here that you can reach from this side, or you can reach underneath once you remove the windshield washer fluid bucket. But I just reached underneath here with a little socket and took that off. And then from underneath, you have to go underneath the car, there's one bolt here that hooks onto the intake and hooks onto this bracket. Then you have all your bolts right here. There's really only 3 steps for taking this off, and it comes right off. The great thing about performing the exercise of going over your glow plugs, besides peace of mind of course, is just this gives you a chance to totally visually inspect your engine compartment. Just all the real stuff is on this side and underneath the intake. In this case, I wanted to change these fuel lines. I just decided to go out and buy them. I think they were like 50 bucks. Seemed like a good preventative maintenance, cheap mechanics to do while I'm in here. I know that these eventually go bad, and I just didn't want that problem in the future. I didn't, you know, they looked old to me, so I replaced them. But everything else looks really good, no leaks. And if you noticed before, I had a towel stuck into the ports on top here where the intake goes into. Those are your valves, and you want to stick a towel in there. You just don't want to take the chance of anything falling into those ports and messing up one of your valves. Right now I've got it off because I'm going to put that intake on. Now, you don't need any gasket paste to put this gasket on. It's actually a metal gasket surrounded by a silicone material. But I always put a little ultra black gasket material just in spots across the manifold surface, just to hold the manifold in place. It just makes things a little easier later when you're putting everything into its final position. You can use grease too. I just use the gasket material. And it just kind of helps me hold it in place. This is the manifold itself. That's the screw hole I was telling you about that you have to access from the bottom of the vehicle when you're taking it off that bracket. And then there's a hose here and a hose here that has to be reconnected. It's pretty easy though, and the hoses are different sizes. You can't mix them up. Probably the hardest part of this job by far is removing or cleaning the gunk, which I feel like is necessary. I guess you would not have to do that to do this, but I feel like it's necessary to try to clean everything up, because the gunk that gets in here actually begins to restrict the airflow and just hurts the overall performance. So I soaked it in diesel overnight, filled it all the way to the top, and then leveled it out best I could, and then dumped the diesel fuel, and then I poured in boiling water, and that cleaned it up pretty good. If I really wanted to go after this, I'd soak it and then take it, you know, with the power washer, but that actually cleaned up really nice. Just put the manifold in place. It's not very heavy. Just goes right over the down tube. And we'll just tighten that intercooler pipe up. I reconnect the tubes first. Again, you can't mess it up because they're both different sizes. And the best way that I found to do this is, once you get it started, just to go in from the top with an extension and tighten down that intercooler pipe. Lastly, put in the intake manifold bolt. Certainly won't hurt to put a little anti-seize lubricant on those as well. Once they're finger tight, get out your torque wrench again, tighten those down to 20 Newton meters or 14 pounds of foot torque, working your way from the middle out. Okay, everything's back on. I don't have any extra pieces left over. Let's see what happens when I start it up. Well, so far, I'm really happy with this purchase. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say this is the easiest vehicle I have ever had to work on. And prices for parts are pretty cheap. In fact, with this one, I was so blessed that I got the factory Mercedes-Benz Bosch glow plugs for half price. I got on Rock Auto, and there was one of their sellers were selling them out for half price, so I got them for $10 a piece. That's even cheaper than what I pay for glow plugs for the truck. So I don't know, parts have been easy to get, but I can never just walk in and get them. I have to order them. That's the biggest difference. The parts for the truck, for instance, are everywhere. I can get them anywhere. This usually takes 2 or 3 days to get in, but it's very, very easy to work on this vehicle, and prices for parts have been very affordable. Now long term, we'll see where we end up, but right now I'm really happy with the result. I'm happy with the buy. I'm happy with how easy it is to get parts and how cheap the parts are and how easy it is. I can't say enough how easy it is to work on this vehicle. It was definitely engineered to be easy to work on. That's very apparent. Besides that, I guess time will tell. I can see why there's followings of these cars and why people become very loyal to them. There's clubs built around them because they are a luxury ride like no other, at least in my experience. I mean, it's incredible. They'll do 100 miles an hour down the highway all day long, quiet, smooth, no problem. The diesel is an incredible piece of machinery.